Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Trends with LJE, where we bring you the latest and developing stories across Nigeria and Africa. I am John Nkamiang. Now, do well to be part of our growing online community by hitting the follow, like, and share button right now on all platforms at LJE Nigeria. Joining me to dissect today's trending stories are Gracie and a new member of the family, Michael. It's great to have you both on this edition of Trends.
Thanks for having us.
Now, let's quickly run through our headlines for this edition of Trends. Insecurity remains Nigeria's toughest challenge. Tinubu ISWAP adopt 13 teenage female farmers in Borno. Falz demands accountability and access. Where are the kidnappers? PDP rejects mass school closure, urges Tinubu to resign if overwhelmed. Gumi defends dialogue with terrorists, says, I go with police. Now to our lead story, where President Bola Tinubu has once again considered that the persistent insecurity confronting Nigeria is the single toughest challenge facing the country, warning that the situation poses the greatest threat to national stability and development. Speaking through the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, at the 25th anniversary of the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, the president acknowledged that his administration inherited complex security challenges but assured participants that they are being confronted with renewed urgency and focus. Tinubu emphasized that no nation can achieve meaningful progress when any part of it remains engulfed in violence, specifically noting that insecurity has become a major obstacle to economic recovery and educational advancement in the northern region. The president vowed that his government remains focused on dismantling the terrorist and bandit networks operating across the northern part of the country. He also sought to instill confidence in the region's economic future, highlighting the acceleration of infrastructural projects like the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano superhighway and the expected ramp-up of crude oil production in newly identified oil fields. The president urged northern leaders to speak boldly and truthfully about the realities facing their communities, stressing that unity and progress will remain elusive if vulnerable communities continue to suffer without adequate protection. By addressing the ACF, a longtime advocate for justice and fairness in the North, Tinubu reinforced his administration's commitment to rebuilding public confidence, strengthening unity, and restoring safety across the hardest hit communities. Meanwhile, a fresh wave of terror has hit Borno State as fighters of the Islamic State West African province ISWAP adopted 13 teenage female farmers in the remote Musa district of Askigira Uba local government area of the state. This mass kidnapping, which occurred in broad daylight, took place just days after the large-scale adoptions of students in both Kebbi and Niger states, sparking renewed and widespread fears over escalating insecurity in the northeast. The Deputy Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly, Honorable Abdullahi Askika, confirmed the devastating attack. He noted that the young girls had gone to their farmlands early in the morning when the armed militants operating unhindered on motorcycles surrounded the field and seized them. Local sources indicate the attackers capitalized on the limited security presence in the district, throwing the community into panic and forcing many remaining farmers to abandon their fields at the peak of the crucial harvest season. Security analysts warn that the growing boldness of ISWAP, particularly in remote councils like Asirira Uba, reflects dangerous gaps in the counterinsurgency efforts. Teenage girls and women remain prime targets for the terrorist groups seeking forced labor, forced recruitment, or ransom. Deputy Speaker Asarika called on military and federal authorities to urgently intensify operations and the Musa axis of the state and prioritize the safe rescue of the adopted girls to promote both the human toll and region's food production. Now, still on the subject of insecurity, reactions have continued to follow, especially after the release of the church members of CAC in Kwara State. Nigerian rapper and prominent activist Falana, popularly known as Falz, has directly challenged the federal government and security agencies to provide immediate and transparent answers regarding the fate of the criminals behind the recent mass adoptions. Reacting to the news of the successful rescue in Kwara and Niger states, Falz insisted that simply announcing the freedom of victims is insufficient without details on whether the perpetrators were arrested or neutralized. Falz specifically questioned the rescue operation involving the 38 worshippers from the Eruku Church, demanding to know if any member of the armed gang responsible were apprehended. He argued that the government's failure to provide accountability, meaning rescue without arrest, only serves to embolden criminal networks and encourage future attacks. His demand for transparency aims to pressure security agents to shift their focus from mere recovery to dismantling the criminal infrastructure. The latest criticism follows Falz's earlier call for President Tinubu's resignation, accusing the administration of slow, weak, and unacceptable response to the initial church raid. His insistence that Nigerians deserve a full account of what became of the kidnappers highlights a critical demand from activists that security success must be measured not just by the freedom of the innocent, but by the assured capture and persecution of the guilty. At this point, let me come to you, Michael. How do you react to Falz's position, insisting that there should be some accountability on the part of government by possibly giving full disclosure with regards to the freedom of the adopted victims, as it were?
Yes, thank you for the question. I totally agree with our brother Falz. Our leaders need to be more accountable. They need to lead, and they need to really let us understand what's going on, because in any society where crime is not checked and there's no punishment, there's no deterrent, it will only continue to increase, and the perpetrators will be emboldened. So yes, we need to find out what's going on, and we need to, get some people arrested, get some people, imprisoned, and let it become unpopular when they count the costs and say, wow, this thing we want to do, the law is death sentence or life imprisonment. There will be a thought that they will think twice. And then I want to suggest something too to our lawmakers. We need new laws. I mean, look at America for an example. The average citizen has the right to arms. I'm so surprised that this kidnapping, this banditry,
be able to defend
himself. Now, I'm not saying we should just give guns to everybody, because that would be chaos. But I mean, if you can own a driver's license, and if you are a responsible citizen of Nigeria, you should be able to own some kind of protection, some kind of firearm to protect yourself and your family. And you see, sorry to digress a little bit, the president, withdrawing the police protection from the VIPs. I mean, it's not fair to protect the rich and leave the common average person to his fate and to his God. It's not right. That is not leadership. So I support Falz 100,000% that our leaders need to be more accountable and come out clean to tell us what's going on and why all this is going on without anybody being apprehended and without any details. And I want to just end by saying this. My colleague, his sister was kidnapped just recently, right here in Lafia. They killed the husband and they left a baby on the floor and took the woman. These people have become so heartless. And I want to ask them, when did we become heartless like this? After ransom was paid, the woman was released. We can't continue like this.
Grace, your reaction to Falz's position, asking for full disclosure, that is not just enough for the church members who were adopted to be freed, but was anybody arrested? Were they neutralized? There is no, remember on a previous edition, we talked about the fact that it's sketchy. The information is sketchy. We were not told whether ransom was paid to release them or anybody was arrested. And Falz is insisting that there has to be some level of accountability.
Exactly. When Falz say, where are the kidnappers? These are the questions we Nigerians are asking. Where are they? We are tired of hearing that the people are being arrested when we are not seeing anything. We are tired of saying they are doing investigation where it's not leading to anywhere. So if the Nigeria are saying that, okay, security, they are trying to do security in Nigeria, at least let's see the result. Let's see accountability. Let's have this. We are tired of statement. At least we need accountability. We need names. We need names. We need arrest. We need conviction. We are tired of hearing say when we are not seeing those people that they said they are arresting. Let's see who they are arresting. Let's see those kidnappers. Where are they? We are not seeing anything. So him saying that where are the kidnappers? This is a very good question to ask.
Very salient question. Well, we'll take a quick break, and then when we return, we'll bring you the story of how the PDP has rejected the mass school closure, especially across northern Nigeria, while urging President Bola Tinubu to resign if overwhelmed, and how Sheikh Gumi, popular sheikh, defends dialogue with terrorists. Stay with us and keep sharing the stream.
Welcome to LJE Studio, where creativity meets production excellence. Whether you're shooting a podcast, hosting a live stream, recording interviews, or bringing your next big idea to life, we've built the perfect space for you. Everything you need to create premium content is right here. Come record, come create, come be inspired. Visit www.ljenigeria.org/LJE-studio or call 0705-245-3714 to book your session today.
Thanks for staying with us. And if you just joined us, well, this is Trends with LJE. Moving ahead, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has strongly criticized the decision by the federal government and some state governments to implement the mass closure of schools in response to the recent wave of adoptions. National Publicity Secretary, Comrade Ini Emeobong, warned that by closing schools, the government is inevitably allowing the terrorists to achieve their strategic goal of discouraging education, particularly in northern Nigeria, which already accounts for the majority of the nation's 18.3 million out-of-school children. The party urged the government to abandon what it called a simplistic approach and instead prioritize the urgent funding and implementation of the National Policy on Safety, Security, and Violence-Free Schools. The PDP argued that this policy, which relies on community intelligence and rapid response system, is the only viable method for anticipating and tackling attacks effectively, rather than resorting to closures that worsen the already dire educational statistic in the north. Furthermore, the PDP renewed its forceful demand for President Tinubu to resign if he is unwilling, unable, or incapable of executing the primary function of government, which is the security of lives and property. Imemobong criticized the lackluster and unempathetic official response to the recent adoptions, urging that the decision to send a lone convoy to the troubled state rather than the president himself exposes a levity that is insensitive to the gravity of the problem. Meanwhile, controversial northern Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmad Gumi has fiercely defended his much criticized interaction with terrorist and bandit groups, insisting that his efforts are not covert and are always undertaken with the full knowledge and participation of the government. Speaking at a summit in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, Gumi stated that he is constantly accompanied by both security personnel and government representatives during his visit to remote bandit enclaves, attributing public backlash to misrepresentation by the media. Gumi explained that his engagement is part of a broader initiative aimed at understanding the root causes of Nigeria's insecurity, which he defines as the two evils of widespread literacy and unemployment. He argued that decades of neglect have isolated channels for dialogue, education, and rehabilitation rather than offering simple criticism from afar. The cleric lamented the barrage of attack he faces whenever his name is mentioned, expressing frustration over what he described as years of media distortion. His ongoing defense of his highly unorthodox approach to conflict resolution underscores the deep division among Nigerians regarding the best strategy for tackling terrorism, whether the focus should be purely on military kinetic action or whether efforts must also include controversial attempts at dialogue and rehabilitation. Again, Michael, I come to you. How do you react to Sheikh Gumi's position? Nigerians are a bit on divergent views, especially when it regards Sheikh Gumi. But what are your thoughts on his explanation for his approach, acting as some kind of mediator between the bandits and the Nigerian state?
Yeah, well, I don't have much to say about that. What I have to say is that the government should do their job. They promised to protect Nigerians. I don't know the sheikh. I don't know his relationship with the bandits and the people that are committing these atrocities. But what I know is that we have a government that is elected by the people and is supposed to protect the people. And we expect the government to get down to the source of this problem and resolve it by strengthening the security forces, by collaborating with international forces so that we can have the technological wherewithal to tackle this. And I'm not against dialogue. I'm not against dialogue. But one thing I must say is that there are hundreds of millions of Nigeria in this, hundreds of millions of Nigerians fighting this issue of poverty and illiteracy. And if everybody decided to go towards crime,
exactly,
it will become a jungle. So I recommend all Nigerians who, irrespective of the challenges, have not put their hand into criminal activities. Instead, we work hard, we pray, and we have a hope for a better tomorrow. And for those that have decided to start kidnapping people and committing all these atrocities, you have questions to answer with your creator on the last day.
Grace, Gumi trying to justify his rhetorics, especially when it has to do with bandits and headsmen and even terrorists.
His constant defense of this bandit is becoming very dangerous. Yes, because the way he speaks sounds like as if he's doing PA for them. Yes, exactly. Because let me say, the way he's always talking is becoming as if he's doing PA instead of standing with the innocent Nigerian. Okay, the claims that he's going with police people. If it's very easy to, this clearly shows how the government bends for him. Because if it's very easy to locate those people easily, so why is it that they cannot come up, the government cannot come up with a strategy or come up with something to kill or to destroy or to do something or
just
to
do away with
them?
Yeah.
Yes. So why are they still negotiating? Why are they negotiating? So if in fact this country, I'm tired of this country is a total mess. Because if he says he's going with the police, that to show
and
you
government
that
officials.
Yeah, that to show you that those people that we can get to them so easily. So why they should just arrest them or do something instead of negotiating all the time? So our security, they should do their work. They should do their job.
Well, big question for Nigeria and the leadership or rulership, as the case may be. Are we now a nation that negotiates with terrorists? Well, time will tell. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Trends with LJE. My sincere thanks to Gracie and Michael. Thank you so much for your brilliant contributions to this edition of Trends.
Thank you.
And of course, to you, our audience, don't forget to follow, like, and share at LJE Nigeria on all social media platforms to join the conversation and, of course, get updates on our next show. I am John Nkanyang. Bye for now.